Alright, we want to finish first half as fast as possible, ideally within around like half a minute, so we're going to use Venti's ult. So, once we start, we're going to switch to Venti and bring up ult before the debuff hits us, so that way we can use Venti's ult later on again. And once these mages are in the air, like now, we're just going to go in and try to hit them with as many skills as we can that can actually hit them while they're up in the air. So like Xion's ult, Venti's burst, Tartaglia's ult should work fine too, but really on this team I don't actually have a lot of options. So now that they're on the ground, we're bringing out Xiangling because her Pyronado can only hit enemies at ground level. And now that Venti's ult is back up, we're going to fire that off again. And now that they're in the air, this is where ideally I would bring out Tartaglia's ult again, but like they were at such low health I didn't really bother at this point. Actually, side note, I just realized I didn't actually use Tartaglia's ult at all, so there is a bit of headroom with this, but I think on this particular one I was just a little lucky with my numbers, so I didn't really see a need to. Normally I'd bring out the ult while the mages are up in the air from Venti's ult. Regarding team comp, the double Electro is to partially counter the effects of the Hydro debuff, and the double Cryo is just because, well, I'm just using Cryo to break the shields. I guess the increased crit rate is also nice. We're going to start by dumping out all of our Cryo characters' skills and bursts. The sooner we apply Cryo to the Heralds, the sooner Kachin can start doing more crit damage to them. And you'll notice that I could probably do better with my grouping, but with this particular comp there's not a lot of CC, so we're just going to take what we can get, just applying Cryo to them as necessary. And I'm generally trying to keep them around the same health level because we want both their shields to come out around the same time, so that way we minimize the amount of time that we waste when one has a Hydra shield up and the other one does not. Looks like I finally remembered to bring out Official, and now I'm just going to bring them down. You can see in the background that one Herald has reset proc the shield, so we're just going to focus this other one down so that we don't lose too much time. Almost there. Any minute now. Okay, nice. So now that we've got both of them with their shields up, now we can start putting up the crowd character skills in earnest. So, you just want to apply as much cryo, or in this case of this team, as much cryo and as much electro as possible. So, this is where Kachin is useful, because obviously her burst lets you use her to deal electro damage for a couple of seconds, which is nice. Diana's shield is also nice because it lets me not have to worry about dodging, especially since, like, with the amount of dodging I'm already doing on this floor, I'm usually running pretty low on stamina, so the shield is nice in that regard. Also, the skill is nice for the heals. And at this point now, it's pretty much just a game of cycle through your characters, find out which ones have skills that are off cooldown, and just use those skills. And it does help to like know these Abyss Heralds attack patterns and know how to dodge them, right? Because if you get hit by one, then your cooldowns get increased, and that's obviously not fun. And you can tell here I'm kind of running it down to the wire. I definitely could have run this a lot more efficiently, but I think it's pretty alright, to be honest. Alright, let's talk about setup next. So my DPS was Child, even though I didn't actually use his ult. Again, I got pretty lucky there, but normally I would. I have 2-piece Gladiators on him and a 2-piece Wanderers. The 2-piece Wanderers is actually pretty useless. If I had Heart of Depth, I would use it on him, but I don't, so yeah, you can swap that with Heart of Depth. I built Xiangling for ER, so just the prototype Star Glitter as her polearm, and 2-piece Gladiators and 2-piece Crimson. If I had a 4-piece Crimson, I would use that instead, but I don't, so you know, it is what it is. For Venti, I don't have the Stringless, but I would definitely use it if I had it. I'm not using Favoni's Warbow because too much ER for what I need. And with the Sackbow, it's pretty nice being able to spam the Elemental Burst usually twice or so. I use Shinya mostly for the power resonance, so you can use White Blind instead of Wolf's Gravestone on her. You don't need a 4-piece Gladiators. I barely used her for normal attacks. I just swapped her in and out for burst damage and skill damage. Also, a huge plus is that her abilities can reach enemies that are in Venti's ult. You saw how I used her skill. I built Kachin for physical damage. The reason why I didn't use something like Bloodstained Chivalry or Pale Flame is because I didn't want to focus on charged attacks because those use up stamina, and obviously I want to keep as much stamina as possible for dodging the Abyss Heralds. So that's why I built Gladiator's Finale instead. I didn't have any particular build for Kai. I kind of just slapped whatever artifacts I had on him. I thought about maybe building for energy recharge, but then the cooldowns on 11.3 are too long for energy charge to be a limiting factor anyways. I built Diana for HP, but her most important artifact is probably the Hydro Tiara, which I also put one of on Kaya because you want to minimize cooldowns. For Fischl, I just put any old artifact on her. That's why there's stuff like HP percent on her instead of like more attack. If I had another Hydro Tiara, I would definitely put it on her because Oz has a pretty long cooldown.